Hello, fellow South Africans. We are heading to 29 May 2024, voting day. We're heading to elections. It is extremely highly difficult in a larger degree, far by extension, to take out ANC in people's mind. I could hear people, they are very hyperactive. People are dreaming, and the dream is free. Implementation is sold separate. People are hoping and zilling and zesting about the fact that here we go, the MK party just came to the party, to cause quite a lot of destruction. There's a lot of promise and hope and high hope that it will take over and whatever the case may be. And I'm asking myself, this is hubris, excessive confidence. It's literally unnecessary. It is unnecessary. It's hubris. It's excessive confidence. I must put it to you that it is highly impossible and patently absurd to think that the MK is going to take over. As a Zulu guy, I'm 100% supporting the movement of the MK, if I could put it that way. Not because I'm a tribalist or whatever the case may be. I've been looking at the whole politics, political games, looking at the EFF as well as the ACT, BLF, the DA, ATM, Action SA, Patriotic Alliance, Katie McKenzie. I've been looking in a broader picture, but now the MK, we cannot run away from the fact that the MK is gaining momentum, is like gunning up, it's a mind-boggling, if I could put it that way. And the political space, it is like at the brink. It's literally skyrocketing. We cannot dispute that. And it is formidable and it is daunting, to think you can discredit, you can lambast, you can scold, you can scoff, you can slander ANC and remove ANC from people's brain. It is highly impossible, Even if you could try to assess and examine the whole scenario, checking at the temperaments on how people predicate and construct the ANC, As much as people would probably be resentful of the ANC and hate them and don't like them and dislike them and complain about this and complain about that, the list is countless. But at the very same time, people are very dubious and oblivion at the very same time. Let me repeat these two words. People are very dubious. They are doubting, to probably give another political organization a chance to govern because they are unaware of how it will probably work for them or whatever the case may be, rather than the ANC, looking at all the loopholes, the discrepancies and the disparity, the unsatisfactories, the disputes, the dissidents, and all of these oppositions of the ANC and slandering and dismantling, discrediting the ANC and what's not and so forth, You can do that as much as you could, but I must put it to you that it is formidable and grossly daunting to think that you can take out ANC from people's mind. People still believe that the ANC is a liberal movement, that probably help them and rescue them and rescue them from the apartheid regime, to gain their freedom, whatever the case may be. It was a liberal movement. People still believe that even to have the rights, to vote, to voice out their concern, their grounds of disputes, their unsatisfactory and what's not and so forth, they still strongly believe that it is as a result of the ANC. But now it is highly impossible for you, to discredit ANC, to say to people, or either just to persuade or convince people to say, here are other alternative political parties, because it seems like the ANC, what it was sent for, it is highly impossible for people to resonate with, You can zeal and zest about it. You can dismantle, you can lambast on the ANC, but it is formidable. It is daunting to take ANC from people's mind. People still hold this belief in a very obnoxious manner, to believe that the ANC was a liberal movement that probably rescued them from the apartheid regime. We cannot dispute that. It's there, but looking at the temperaments, how people predicate and construe the ANC. As much as I'm concerned that there are other alternative organization which probably selling some little bit of heaven and probably good things and whatever the case may be, but you cannot. This is not an argumentative statement. You cannot take away, you cannot take out ANC from people's brain. It's still there, and the problem is that there are few clever blacks, people who can assess, evaluate, and examine the situation and have hindsight about their assessments, about their discoveries and their experience as they digging and delving deeper into the problems that we're encompassing in our country at this particular moment. We could shift a little bit further and look at in a broader picture about the problems that occurs in our country. Looking at the load trading, it's a man-made thing. We're looking at the what you might call this, it's COVID-19. It's also a man-made thing. I strongly believe, and I hold this belief at this particular moment, that people purport that it's going to be easy, for ANC just to fall like that in just a fraction of time. Statistically, if you could look at a broader picture on the time scale and the political landscape, you'll find out that the ANC has been a little bit plummeting with almost about 3%, 3 to 5% or so each and every time after 10 years. The ANC has been plummeting drastically. So even for now, it's not going to get like the second majority or whatever that majority. Maybe it can have like about 45 or so. From 51%, I think it's going to plummet further to 45 or somewhere. Looking at what else? It's highly impossible. All I'm saying is that all these other political organizations can sell hopes. You can see them, people supporting them on their conferences and on their campaign rallies and what's not and so forth. But here comes the 29th of April, 2024, the voting day. That's when you will see that people are still possessing a stronghold with the ANC. People still believe that the ANC is the one that builds the roads, that build the infrastructure, that supports the education system, that brings about libraries, schools, and hospitals, security, policing, all these infrastructures. People, they still hold this belief that it is as a result of the ANC to have this probably soft life, as you may put it, than as compared to back in the days where we were like segregated, where there were like disparity in terms of the rights that people have and the opportunities at the workplace and what's not and so forth. They still hold this belief that even for them to have right to speak out about their grounds of disputes about unsatisfactories, they still believe they have that right just simply because of the ANC as a liberal movement that was in combat, to free its people. So even you can go to tertiary institutions, they still believe that even for black people to have access in these high tertiary institutions, it's as a result of the ANC. Because remember, if you can shift a little bit back in the days, you'll remember that there was something called Bantu education, which was there to oppress and torment people, black people especially, not to override in terms of the academical rankings, resume, and accolades in terms of white people and black people. It was probably maintaining that hierarchy that a white man should always be above than a black man. So people believe all of these things were established by the ANC. So they believe they don't have right without the ANC. So you cannot take ANC out of their mind, whether you like it or not, whether you think this, it's going to be like it's going to be like equivalent or tantamount to 1994. That is just a fallacy. I could see people with this hubris character, excessive confidence to say 2024 election is going to be like 1994. That's ludicrous. That's lunatic. That's very insane to conclude on. That's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. This is not a hocus pocus. It's never going to happen. It's formidable. Inevitably, I believe so as well. It's not inevitable, but at this particular moment, it is highly formidable. It is daunting to think that you're just going to wipe away ANC. It's highly impossible. And if you're talking about the clever blacks, you're basically talking about the minority, which doesn't say anything, because it's majority that governs at some point, somewhere, somehow. Even if we are sold to this probably favorable or either conditional democracy, if I could put it that way. But anyway, ANC is still going to be around. I think what's going to happen at these particular elections is that the ANC is luckily inclined to collide with the DA. With that having said, or with that happening, there is a likelihood that Ramaphosa can still remain as the president of this country. If the ANC I don't think they can collide with the MK, because the MK looks like it's a left wing. I don't know whether it could collide with the EFF, because EFF is selling also an idea of a left wing. So the potential partners with the DA, with the ANC could literally be the DA, because ANC and DA, I think they are proponents. They are one and the very same thing, especially under this leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa, whether you can throw words like stone slashing, belittling, but people are very, I can put it this way, people are very oblivion. People are very oblivion. That is majority. Majority of people are oblivion. So with that having said, by being oblivion is that they are unaware, they are uncontent, they are unaware, they are not even concerned about what is wrong, what is right. They just take what is given to them. If the media says, if the media tells, if the media articulates, if the media disseminate these tabloids, which is propaganda, they will just take that as it is and hold that and believe that it is as the media says. So at some point, somewhere, somehow, I used to say media has lost its sincerity. The media, the traditional media system, lost its sincerity. There's no integrity anymore. It takes only the clever blacks, to see that the traditional media does not provide the sincerity and the integrity and the authenticity of what they tell. But then again, majority of people are oblivion, and there are some dubious people who is still thinking that people can see that. Majority of people are unaware. They don't think deep. They just tap it as the hype says. So that works in the favor of the ANC as well. So ANC is still going to be around. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm sorry to say this, but according to status quo, whether you like it or not, whether you hate it or whatever the case may be, we're still going to have the ANC governing this country in the next coming couple of years. Or probably it's going to be like their last time. Not literally, because from 45, maybe the next coming 10 years, another decade, it will plummet about like 5% or so. So ANC is still gonna be around in the governance role for the next coming 50 years, because they're gonna keep on plummeting and synergizing with another political party to govern as well. So it's still gonna be around.